Hi, this is Vanessa Love, and this is my channel about the mental health field and related topics. Alright, so I wanted to talk about why there aren't a lot of therapists in your area accepting insurance. Alright, here's a couple of reasons. One, you make a lot more if you don't accept insurances, and it's a lot less of a headache. You don't have to spend your time worrying about paperwork. Sometimes there are therapists who will do a super bill, which means that like maybe after a month or two, they sit down, they create basically a claims invoice for you, give it to you, and you take care of it. If you get any of the money back for the out-of-pocket expenses that you've put out for your therapy, then you get that money back. It's not like, it's one of those things where I'm like, it's not easy. It still requires some paperwork. It's honestly easier if someone just is like, here's, either your full fee or your sliding scale fee, and we're done. That's out. It's over. The exchange, it's done. Like they leave the check and you're all good. So the other reason is insurance companies. I can tell you that there are a number of insurance companies, and I'm sure if you have one, especially through work, you know which ones it is in Connecticut. I have been practicing in Connecticut for 12 years. I have not had any success. There are so many people who are like, the panels are closed. The panels are closed. I have one of the insurances that has a closed panel. And I one time had to look up something, like a practitioner for, whatever it was. And there really weren't that many in the area. And especially not people who had, an open, I usually do morning sessions, not anything that had open in morning, so it was just okay, so you have to be open now on a Saturday. Fuck. And that's not easy. The other thing is that there are people you can pay a couple $100s to, so that they spend their time trying to get you paneled or credentialed with these boards. That's a lot of information basically that they have about you, and they have the time, though. That's all they do, is they take that fee and then they put it toward doing this stuff. There are other companies that are coming through now that will work with these bigger companies, and they are claiming that they can, if you use their app, if you use their software, that they will credential you or panel you for their monthly, but they are also usually a monthly subscription fee, and then they'll also get you paid because they have decided that they are a middle person who can, do this stuff, and they will kind of, I guess, be responsible for your paperwork. Which I'm like, oh God, So there are these things also called EHRs, electronic health records, companies. There's a couple of different ones, and they will do some billing for you, keep notes, progress notes, treatment plans, all of that stuff, updated, available, and then they put it through, and, they bill. And again, another monthly subscription fee. I choose not to use those. So every school that I've attended, my information has been leaked in some way, or at least maybe looked at, and T-Mobile. And also one of the agencies that I had to apply to be able to take my licensing exams in both Connecticut and New York, that one, all of my information, which I'm like, the government, when I did my internship, which I'm like, that's related to school. I wouldn't have been there had I not been in school. The licensing one, I'm like, God, guys, you could have done better. So I kind of feel like my information is just out there. And I don't want my clients to have that experience, because that seems very unfair. I would have a lot of questions for any of these EHRs or other companies that say that they will do your billing for you, I really, like, I do not want my clients to be traumatized by this. I do not want my clients' information leaked. They better have some freaking solid, solid, like, back end security, because, like, I'm not putting my clients' information out there unless I know. And, like, there's a lot that obviously goes into that, and when you know a little bit of cybersecurity, like, you know how many companies have had, you know, not big data breaches, and they just don't have to come forward about it. You know, it's ethical if they choose to, but they don't necessarily have to. So, as you can see, I would be very, you know, interested in that. And some of these insurance companies are really, really big, and they have no idea what the other part of the company is doing. If you've ever had to call the blue line, then you know the frustration of, one, trying to talk to that, like, system, and two, how they don't know what is going on. I don't know. Like, one time I called an insurance company, got the other office instead of the local office, which it should have gone to the local, got the other office, and they were like, well, they were scared. I don't know why they were scared. They were like, well, you know, if we lost the claim. And I was like, it's like, well, I mean, it just means that it's not here. It's not with us. And I was like, okay, all right. I used to call that just kicking out the claim, and they would be like, the computer kicked out the claim. And I'm like, okay, could you go back and look at it? Because pretty sure my super bill had everything in it that you needed. So if you can, like, just, you know, go back and look at that, that would be good. Yeah, there's so many complications with insurances, and obviously these middle companies, because they can pop up out of nowhere. They could look at your information. I had one company contact me. I don't know if they're around anymore, but they were doing something that was like, it helped you, like, it was, gosh, what was it? It was an online telehealth platform, and they would help you write your notes from, like, your meeting. Like, you would have your meeting on the platform, and then, like, I guess go and simply, like, write out the thing, right? So it was like, okay, well, whatever. So that was like, cool, whatever. And I was like, who is looking at this information? Because it was just basically someone who was into software, like, who could do software development. And they were like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess the CEO will be looking at it, and, you know, we might have people who, you know, look over the video. And I'm like, okay, like, I can't, I like it no. Even if I have a what they call a BAA, a business agreement, like, it just no like, where is my client's information going? And, like, that is always going to be my question, because I could tell you where my client's information is right now, and I can tell you with certainty that I have a 2-lock digital system. So, like, and for the paper, the paper ones, it's a 2-lock system. Like, I do not mess around with that, because, like, I even had to go into the law to see what a lock legally was, because, like, is that a lock? It is, like, a lock that I put on the side. Like, does it have to be like you have to know what a lock is in order to follow the law on this, because of HIPAA. And so, like, it's necessary, and so it is one of those things where I'm just like, you have to do it. I did it. I know what a lock is. Yeah, I'm like, if the building that you rent from, if they have a lock on the first door, is that a lock? Is that a lock that counts as a lock? Anyway, yeah, it does not. It does not. Yeah. So, yes. Like, things that I know that I know where my client's information is. I don't know where my client's information is, and especially treatment plans, progress notes, everything, that's like associated, like oh my God, all the information, like you have to know where it is. And like, I don't know if people really always know. And also, one of those scary things where I'm just like, some places, like big hospitals, don't necessarily know how to properly get rid of old mainframes or like data cassettes. So like, they might have computers with your information on it from 20 years ago, from previous systems that they used, and the administration deals with other stuff. They don't always deal with the e-waste. And so that, like, there's been known cases of people being like, if I just turn on this 30-year-old computer, I can find information that would be like basically against HIPAA. But I guess if it is that old, then it is considered, I guess, not relevant, maybe discarded. Because I know, like, after 10 years you can destroy a client's file, like when 10 years from the time that they've like ended therapy. Yeah, you can just not have their file anymore, which I'm like, yeah, like if I had a client and they didn't talk to me and like I wasn't going to get in contact with them, they probably moved away, should probably change their number, I'm like, yeah, yeah. But it has to be discarded in a particular way. They actually don't tell you. They don't tell the provider how to properly throw it away, but I would imagine that with any e-waste, you would have to be able to throw it away in a way that actually throws it away and doesn't, reveal all of your information from 30 years ago to someone who might be just walking by, what the, like, basement, decided to break in or whatever, I mean, that two-lock system, this is still why this is an issue. But yeah, like, it's not like it's common, but it's like, oh no, that's a straight up issue with administrations from like hospitals, that they don't, like, again, they have so many other things that they're worried about that, like, the administration, I always kind of think of them as a little bit bumbling, where it's like, yeah, you're a little out of touch, but like, you make things run. So like, I get it if you're looking at a computer screen all day. But yeah, like, there are people who just simply do not know how to get rid of e-waste, especially medical e-waste, which I'm like, so, yes, there are definitely concerns about that type of stuff, and like, I really worry about storage and all of that stuff, and like, software developers probably know this stuff, like, some of my very like technologically challenged colleagues probably don't think of where their clients' data is being like held, because like the cloud is a thing, and I'm like, do you know what a data center is, right? Like, that like there has to be a data center somewhere with the data that can be accessed. Oh no. And they're, and some of these people are developing these, the software, this type, and like, how do we know where everything is, and how do we know how they're going to deal with natural disasters, and how do we know how they're going to deal with any data breaches, especially if it's if it's a minor one, they probably won't tell you, which is like, all right, but major ones they will. Yeah. And they have to do scans, and they have to, like, it is one of those things where I'm like, I almost feel bad for how many questions I have to ask, and the more that people don't know, the more that I don't want to use their services. And again, this is something you should be asking, like, this is something that should be available, and just be like, hey, what's going on with my data? Where is it? Because, yeah, if you don't know, it might be compromised. Oh, yeah. It's very surprising. I don't think that it should be obviously available to everyone, but it's like one of those things where I'm like, can you call up one of these companies and be like, I have had a medical provider who used your services and I want to know, so I want to know some things. Yeah. I'd rather just do my own billing, rather have my own stuff. I'd rather know where all my clients' information is. I'd rather that, if there were any questions for me, I could answer them instead of being like, it's in the cloud somewhere. It's in a data center somewhere. Hopefully it's all taken care of. Anyway, so yes, there are issues with insurances and with some of these other places that, that like you probably should be concerned about. And also, some of the time, insurance companies are completely in control of some of the issues that people are having. And, there's not much that us providers can do unless we want to spend a lot more money on the things to do the thing, which I'm like, why? Like, shouldn't this be easy? Like, applying for a panel is free. Like, why does it have to be so complicated? Anyway, before I get into, I guess, 90s music, I hope that was helpful for you, and I will talk with you soon. All right, thanks.